More so back in there.
This is the Gutenberg Bible. Oh. Here on display. I was in Mainz, Germany, and they would not allow video or photography of their Gutenberg Bibles, but here we're able to get at least up to the glass with it and see a Gutenberg. So this is a cool thing to see, is a Gutenberg Bible. One of the earliest books, you know, printed on a printing press, but the idea of how print has been a historical part, has been a significant part of history. Sorry, that's what I meant to say, significant part of history. But this is one of the most precious books in the world, and rightfully so. There's only so many of them in existence still. But if you're down here in the DC area, come to the Library of Congress. This is, if anything, you see anything here, you got to come see the Gutenberg Bible, because you could get video and photos of it. You can't do it in Germany, but you can do it here in America. This is some fountains in front of the Library of Congress. People doing their social media posts and videos, but yeah, the great way to start your visit to National Mall is actually start down by the end by the Library of Congress and Supreme Court. Note that they're not open, some of the buildings here are not open on Mondays, but definitely not open on weekends. So, and you want timed entry tickets for Library of Congress. Go on their website and request your free time entry tickets. But yeah, Library of Congress is something to go check out. And then across the way, of course, building, I got some tour buses in the way, but let's get a better shot in a sec. So there is the Capitol building. People for scale. Another museum that is a must when you come to the National Mall here in DC is the Aerospace Museum. It's you have to do time entry tickets, so don't forget to check out their website, get your timed entry, because there's a lot of people that want to come here, so they got to control the crowds. I want to go ahead and when you walk in, you have a huge mural here on the wall. There is a Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise there. But yeah, this is a huge space. Definitely need a good hour and a half to see everything in here. So one of the exhibits here is the Wright brothers, because without the Wright brothers, we would not have, well, we would have eventually had it, I like to believe, but you know, someone had to be first. And it ended up being these guys. So there's a great exhibit where you can see, I think the Kitty Hawk, or replica. Is this the real one? The real Wright flyer. you get some people for scale how big this flyer is. But it's immense. America by air. Look at that. A lot of interactive exhibits showing you these Rolls-Royce engines, just how big they can be. Yeah. It's great to see all these great exhibits. So much information about flight and space. And it's just wonderful to see these planes just suspended in the air right above you. You get up this close, it's a sight to see, sight to behold. And just to take all, you know, a lot of people, we travel, we get on airplanes all the time, but we never think about the history and you know, to really put this in perspective of how, you know, how much we've come from the Wright brothers seeing their gliders to, you know, jets and things that go into the, you know, near space, if you will. It's amazing, and it's little things we take for granted. This makes you appreciate it, how far we've come historically. Of course, you can't have stuff about aerospace until you talk about space. Of course, I've been to NASA in Houston. I'm looking forward to going to the Kennedy Space Center, Port Canaveral. Looking forward to that later this year. But just the science and technology of space exploration is just, it's something that's always amazed me. I'm super supportive of exploration and learning more about our galaxy and beyond. But man, look at these rovers. Oh my goodness. Look at that little bitty one. The Mercury rover. Mars exploration. Look at the Mars exploration rover, like hand for scale. That's just massive. Then you get to this laboratory rover. Look at those wheels. The amount of tech that's in that thing. It's amazing. That's astounding. And that's pretty dang big. That is huge. Wow. Love it. They have these little satellites all along the ceiling suspended. One of the exhibitions here is the Nation of Speed. And one thing Americans do like, we do love fast cars and things that go super fast. Chevy Corvette. And of course, I had a C8 back in 2021. Love that C8, but here's the classic America sport car. Yeah, we've always liked things to go fast. Oh, there's a Barbie car. Hot Wheels. Harley Davidson. And of course, Evel Knievel. And then we got rocket engines, planes. Boats. I mean, anything that's got an engine in it goes fast. F1. Look at it, Mario Andretti. Of course, engines. Yeah. In the movie Top Gun, I have a need for speed. Here they have the Sonic Wind 1 rocket sled. It moved faster than a bullet. Here's some statistics. 632 miles per hour. John Stapp, he said, I felt the sensation in my eyes, somewhat like the extraction of a molar without anesthetic. You can see the different phases of what his face looked like. So they had this contraption he was on with all those rockets going down a rail and sitting in a metal chair with no helmet. And it's pretty badass. Another one of the great exhibitions here, showing telecommunications satellites. I love these little projection systems that project onto a suspended sphere here. You can see telecommunications, satellite communications and shots around the world. That's suspended from the ceiling, or like different types of satellites. They even come in about the size of a shoebox, but then you got some with big arrays like that. Over there they have an example of the XM panel right here. And as I was saying earlier, you can find an imaging satellite that's about the size of a little bit bigger than a shoebox. Like iridium satellite phones, old school Nokia phone with Snake on it. But yeah, satellites aren't always as big as people think. But it's one world connected. Got a little panel right there. Pretty cool stuff to see. A little simulator like that kind of puts you, immerses you in the viewpoint. You know, it's not going to be exactly the same, but it's a good immersive experience to learn a little bit about the eye and the world that the people have when they're up there. So every now and then in the news, you'll hear about somewhere in the Mediterranean or the sea that there was underground cable cut, and the internet's impacted in a region. And so this is a good thing to kind of show you how thick these undersea cables are. It's not just like a little teeny tiny cable. Let me just hand for scale. And then here's these amplifiers, because when you travel long distances you have to amplify the signal. So they have these big devices like this, this is from 1984. But you have these, you have to boost the signal. There's an example of the cable, fiber optic. But when you hear projects like, when you got like Starlink, and then Google has a project as well called Loon, where they're going to put all these balloons in the air to help put internet in, very less densely populated areas, or areas where there's like no cables or telecom towers, etc., to provide internet to the remote places of the world. Very admirable type of project. Hopefully, between Google and Elon's world internet projects, that we get the whole world connected better. This is another thing I would like to highlight on the video that's really good about this exhibit, is that it starts to talk about things like the satellite showing us the hole in our ozone layer, and how certain products, aerosols, etc., are wreaking havoc on the ozone. It talks about good and bad ozones. There's a lot of interactive information here. But what people really don't pay attention to is like our waste and everything that they do. This technology is giving us this perspective of the impact it has on our world, and it's something to think about. They got one planet, we're not doing a good job taking care of it, and until we can get life, get ourselves to another planet and start colonizing Mars or whatever, the moon, what have you, we got to take care of our planet. We only get one, and for future generations, we got to start thinking today about that future. It might not be our future, but our children's futures. So we got to start making some changes and hopefully leverage technology. The way we can gather information, see the world, leverage our technology to help us, treat our planet better, and to extend, life on Earth for many, many, many more years to come. I was about to walk out of this exhibit, and it's just the little things that you might have walked by, but look, check this out. They have written, microscopically etched on the surface, the vocabulary and usage of over 1,500 languages from around the world. So this is the Rosetta disc. This is the highly magnified view, that is highly magnified view of the disc. And then here's the disc. Look at that. Let's see if I can zoom in. I can't even begin to You can see that the surface isn't completely smooth, but you gotta like get a microscope to be able to get to the text that's contained in it. That is just, that's freaking cool. It talks about more about the disc here. Wow. Well, right when I was about to exit, I'm glad I caught this. Okay, so now I got a better idea of what I was walking through here at the National Mall. It is the celebration of modern agriculture here at the National Mall. And what's cool is they have all this great farm equipment, but it's all based upon technology. You know, technology. I saw this big, huge drone. You know, leveraging, you know, merging tech into our agriculture industry. It's pretty awesome, pretty amazing. So I'm here at the National Mall, and you know, it's not a mall like a store with department stores. It's an open area with lots of museums, and there's events that are held out here all the time. And I'm just walking through, and there's a wonderful event. Got to meet a farmer. And a lot of times we think of farmers, you think of like the straw out their mouth and the hat and overalls, but no, they look just like you and me, regular folk, regular people. And this guy's got his whole family. You know, there's some photos of them. Let me just kind of them right here on the farm. They got bees. And this gentleman's been so informative. Here's a little bit of information. I'm gonna do a slow scroll, and anytime you can pause your video, and there's a QR code if y'all can pause and get that. The questions about, you know, you have a message about sustainability. So what are some facts and some information to share with people that are watching?
So hey everybody, I'm Kamal Bell of Sankofa Farms. We're a farm located in Cedar Grove, North Carolina. And it's a family farm. It's 12 acres. The property is 12 acres, but we do what people would describe or relate to as market gardening. So we take a small space, and then we do a lot of intensive, and we diversify crops in that area. So through that, we've come up across this idea of sustainability. And for us, it's a two-pronged approach. Well, two, not four, two. And we look at it from a human aspect and also from a farm practice aspect. So the human aspect looks like incorporating our youth. So we do a lot of advocacy around youth in our community, especially ones who traditionally wouldn't be exposed to agriculture. And then we also look at it from a practice standpoint where we have moved to no-till. So we've integrated compost, which is highly nutritious, and we're not saying our soil that's there, our native soil isn't, but it's clay. So if you know anything about clay soil, it's high in nutrient content, but it condenses when it doesn't have access to a lot of water. Or if it gets too much water, it turns into mud. Okay. So what we've done is integrate compost into the native soil to keep a good balance. So now we have like a perfect mix of soil, which isn't too prone to getting really hard, but it's really soft and kind of fluffy and doesn't drain too bad like a sandy soil.
But it's good for growing the crops and growing the vegetables. It's great for growing. So I'd like to talk real quick, now, you know, children, and I see that you have a lot of materials here, and I think you was coming out.
Yeah, so right now I'm here on behalf of the American Farm Bureau Federation, and then since they brought me in, I'm also advocating for some of the things that we're doing as well. So the American Farm Bureau Federation does a lot of advocacy and policy work for farmers across the nation. 6 million to be exact, correct? 6 million farm families. And I'm here representing on their behalf, but also representing Sankofa Farms. So we do have a children's book coming out called The Bee and Me, and what it's talking about is me and my middle son Akeem, who you saw earlier in the picture. We're going through an instructional guide on how you can keep bees in a sustainable and safe way.
Wow. And you know, there's been lots of stories in the past few years about bee populations and so forth, and he had a wealth of information. But if people want to connect with you, learn more about your family and your story and the work that you do, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on the internet at Sankofa Farms. That's across all social media channels. Sankofa, S-A-N-K-O-F-A, Farms, F-A-R-M-S.com, and then Sankofa Farms for all of our social media handles. And
I'll put their links in the description in the video below. But yeah, definitely check out his socials. He's doing great work in our world. You know, we don't have enough people that are interested in agricultural careers, and you know, a lot of folks that grow up around cities, they don't get exposure to it. So if you got an opportunity to take a trip out to a farm, meet a farmer, you know, get connected to your local community better. You know, find out more information, and just use the internet at your fingertips. But it's folks like this that put food on our tables and help our environment. You know, this is the front lines of it, I would say.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. That is definitely one of the largest drones. Check that out. People for scale. But yeah, look at that. It's a little windy, but I'm here at the Washington Monument, and it's, yeah, there it is, tall and pointy. Over here, you have the White House, or at least a piece you can see here. And then, you know, there's the view of the Capitol building that way. It is windy, so the audio is probably going to... But yeah, it has been a great trip to D.C. Over there is the Lincoln Memorial. And just imagine how many historic events have taken place here. And how much significance that all these departments and federal buildings and agencies and everything our government works here in DC. Love it or hate it, politics aside, there's a lot there. Hundreds of thousands of people that come together, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people to operate our government to the best of their ability. It's not perfect, never will be, but they're always every day coming to work here and make our country better and to make our lives better. So as a leader in a country that leads the nation, leads the world, there's a lot of people that's behind that. So when we think of like just a president, it's just not one person. That's tens of thousands of people in his executive branch. The Senate, the Congress, the Supreme Court, and then all the hundreds of agencies that have to come together and work with all these people trying to achieve these missions and goals. It's astounding when you really start to think about it. And the only thing that's more astounding than that is when I went to the planetarium and watched this thing on dark matter, talking about the universes and how the galaxy is expanding at a faster rate. It also puts that in perspective. Like with all the stuff we do here on this rock, there's so much more happening beyond our world and the galaxy and so forth. But that was a cool moment to see that. So highly recommend that at the planetarium at the Aerospace Museum. But come down to DC, spend as much time as you can, check out as many museums as you can, take in all the information, the sites, and just come explore and see, you know, what is available here. And so with that, that has been Formerly Me.